Thank you, James. In honor of the holiday, I'm going to try and read something sad and then something happy. So I hope to leave you on a better note, but I'm going to start with a poem called My Father Who Art in Heaven. It's just published in the Fault Zone, Stepping Up to the Edge, a consortium of stories. My Father Who Art in Heaven. My Father who art in heaven, hallowed be his name, which isn't art, it's Frank. And I don't know if Frank art in heaven or not. The rules for getting in are vague and have changed over time. Either way, my father, Frank, hallowed be his name, taught me three things. How to catch a baseball, which was heaven. How to drive a car, a little heaven, a little hell. And how not to die, which was hell on all fronts, strapped down in a hospital bed because his body bucked and kicked like he was riding an imaginary bull to the promised land. And the hospital found it convenient to restrain the man's last ride with leather straps, arms and legs too, trussed to a gurney, which I, dutiful son, declared cruel, only to be threatened by a hospital suit. We're just doing our job, sir. If you don't like it, you can take your father somewhere else, which is impossible, of course. This is the intensive care unit, and Frank isn't going anywhere. But it was enough of a threat to shut dutiful son up. Meanwhile, my father Frank, who may or may not art in heaven, hallowed be his name, is suffocating slowly, and not so slowly, from emphysema. No room in his lungs for air. 60 years a smoker he, 60 years, and no room in his lungs for air. And the elder son, 3,000 miles away, packing his bags, probably smoking a cigarette himself as he waits for his father's last breath, waits for the call that says, "It's time, come." He has been waiting for this call his whole life, waiting not to mourn, but to finally be released. And the brood's firstborn, the daughter ballerina, danced away to Colorado after months of serving as his look after and look for and look to and look out and look over, and now, reached by hospital phone, reacts with a, "Look, it's your turn now. Don't call me till he's dead," and hangs up. Don't call me till he's dead? And dutiful son, anger bucking and kicking in his veins, returns to his father's bedside and conjures catching that baseball in the backyard, the one dad threw too high, and he falling backwards to catch it, backwards, back of head slamming hard to ground, hard, but the ball remained in the glove because he kept his eye on it the whole time. Like Dad said, kept his eye on it. That's how you do it. You keep your eye on it. And it's 2 in the morning, and his eye is on Frank. Hallowed be his name. And he tries to swab the man's parched mouth, but the father will have none of it. No, he shook. The only conscious moment the whole day and night. And son is drained from his duty, drained from his anger, drained from being drained. After all, this man is tenacious. Will hang on for days, won't he? This is a marathon, isn't it? And he kisses his father, whispers, "I love you, Papa." And the hurt was in how hard it was to say it and mean it, even now, at this juncture, this cusp. And he retrieves the father's town car, a Lincoln, always driving something big, that man, and drives it home, what was once home, drives it just the way his dad taught. Easy on it. Let the car do the work. Keep your eye on the road. Be aware. And he's aware of time and how quickly it passes. And he goes to bed, or tries to, but he's too aware of too many things to find its slope. And an hour later, the phone rings, and it's the hospital suit. Your father has passed. And he calls the neighbor who has been keeping an eye, and the brother, now on his way, who took it as one last fatherly insult. The bastard died on my birthday. And he waits dutifully till morning to call, Miss, don't call me till he's dead. And sleep is hopeless now, a well of energy surging in his veins. Is it relief, regret, revenge? And the curiosity gets the better of him, and he retrieves the will. He knew he would, and starts the accounting. Keep your eye on the ball. Keep your eye on the road. Keep your eye on those called to gather when your heaven calls you home. That's a little heavy for Christmas, so let's do something a little lighter. I'm just going to read part of this. This is my new book. It's called If I Were You. It's illustrated, my own pictures. And it starts right here on the dedication page. It says, to whom it may concern. I tell myself, if I were you, I'd wake up every morning and I'd say, wow, holy mackerel, amazing. Then I'd put my clothes on, backwards, just to make sure I wasn't going in the wrong direction in the first place. If I were you, I'd smile with my eyes and listen with my nose, K-N-O-W-S. I'd eat oranges and avocados, play with friends, laugh, cry, sing, shout, think on my feet, and dance on my toes. Because if I were you, I'd be a human being with a big, beautiful human heart beating inside of me, and there's nothing wrong with that. If I were you, I'd sit under a nectarine tree in the August heat, and I'd eat as many nectarines as I could. And if someone said, you're gonna get sick, I'd say, you gotta be crazy. No one gets sick of nectarines. If I were you, I wouldn't stray too far from the sun, but I wouldn't play too close to it either. An Earth's distance away is just about right. If I were you, I'd find a spot somewhere on Earth, and I'd call it my spot. And I'd go sit on my spot every once in a while, and I'd listen to whatever it had to say, in whatever language it had to say it, because spots know things only spots can know. Then I'd say, thanks, Spot. You really hit the spot. If I were you, I wouldn't try to fix Dad's pocket watch, the one that belonged to his dad. It hasn't worked in years. And I wouldn't go near the little screws in the back, as tempting as they are, because once I unscrewed them and turned the watch over, there would be no going back in time. If I were you, I'd tell time by sundial. The only moving part is the sun, and at night it turns itself off to save batteries. If I were you, I'd root for dandelions to be declared flowers, and for sunflowers to spread like dandelions across soccer fields and golf courses, out of sidewalk cracks next to parking meters and no U-turn signs. Everywhere you turn, sunflowers. If I were you, I'd believe in cats and curiosity and 9 lives worth of second chances and do-overs. And I'd get some of my spiritual training from a preacher named Buddy or Spot or Duke. If I were you, I'd invest in rainbows. They'll always be worth something, no matter who's in charge. If I were you, I'd make sure there was sand between my toes every day, not one day off. If I were you, I'd get angry once in a while, I would, but I wouldn't stay angry. I wouldn't. And I'd complain too. but not too much. Go ahead, complain. That's enough. I'll stop there. Thank you.